I'm a believer in sharing things from my life that have made it better. Things that have been tried, tested, and true. Would be an immediate example. When I was in Oklahoma, I got off of work after a bad week, bad day, probably just really tired, in a bad state of mind, had my custody case going on. So that at that time in my life, my mental health was very, very weak. So I was very vulnerable. I was very susceptible to things. I was very exhausted all the time, constantly. And I was full of rage. And I just didn't know what to do, what direction to go. Excuse me. And one of the things I remember not helping me, like I started realizing what is not helping me. Because at a certain point, it's just like, okay, this is not doing good. This is not doing good. This is not doing good. And I started just kind of really taking control. Well, control's not a good word. I started putting more attention onto what I was doing in my life that was causing more pain than it was pleasure, or more chaos than it did peace. And crazily enough, the weather was one of them. And what I mean by the weather, I come from Oklahoma City, where it's very humid, so that makes the hot hotter or the cold colder. It's not very, people stay inside. They buy big ass 4,000 square foot houses because most of their time is spent inside a house. And that's why I believe they do so many social games, because they're spending so many time in a certain location. So in order to keep their brain stimulated and entertained, they play those games, those social, cultural games. It makes more sense. But during that time, I had a girlfriend, and we had taken a trip out to Colorado, Denver, Colorado. And I just remember it being so fucking amazing. But so much was going on at that time, I couldn't immediately recognize why I enjoyed Colorado so much. I just thought maybe, hey, we're traveling, I'm with a girlfriend, this is working. I was totally oblivious to the real reasons why I enjoyed the place I was just at, because I was so focused on an image and a status that I thought, oh, this must be God, or it must be what it looks like. I'm finally getting it, because I thought I had paid my pain with my custody battle and all that, and I had taken a lot of shit from this woman I was with, and I was like, oh, so here's the breakthrough. I just felt free, and I thought it was because I was with that woman. I thought it was because of everything that was not the actual reason. And then we were there for like 4 days. And on the third day, I remember walking out just before evening time, so that, it was like, it wasn't dark, but it wasn't light. It was right there in the middle of that, like, peaceful midnight haze, you know what I mean? And I just took a deep breath, because I was coming down the stairs of the Airbnb we were staying at, walking out to the car to go out to eat for her birthday or something, or to go smoke weed, I don't know. I was high the whole time. And I was like, man, this air. And I was like, Alicia, does this air smell? Alicia was the girl I was with at the time. I was like, does this air smell good to you? She's like, yeah, that's the mountain air. That's like how she said it. And I was just like, man. And I just remember really, really loving the air. So when I went back to Oklahoma, of course, the mountain views and all that, Denver just being in a bigger city. Oh, I remember the people. I started remembering why I liked it. Because in contrast, when I went back to Oklahoma. So anyways, speed you up. The weather was so much better in Colorado. I started thinking when I was working, and I got off work, I was like, man, I bet if I had a bad week and I was in Colorado, I'd be able to just go take a trip to the mountains or something, and it would just wash me away. And that kind of idea, that philosophy built up. I'm going to speed the story up here now because I spent so much time elaborating something else. Anyways, so I took a chance, and I made a decision to move to Colorado. And the reason I made the jump, the reason I didn't really care what everyone else around me was saying, in fact, I kept it very quiet most of the time, was because I was so sure of the reason I was doing it. I was making a bet on something that I 100%, or at least I was ready to gamble on. And it was that I'm not looking for an easier life. I'm not looking even to run from problems that I have in Oklahoma. That literally wasn't it. I was looking to get to a place where I feel satisfied just driving down the street. where like right now, I mean, I can see a sunset. There's the city of Denver, and there's like probably mountains somewhere over there. And I'm just driving to work. And I get to start my day with beautiful scenery every day. And there's so much about that inspires me to just enjoy life. It's almost like I don't have a choice, and I can just let go and finally relax. Whereas in Oklahoma, I didn't have that. It was a little more flat, humid, not much nature, not much to do outdoors. The people were very obese, overweight, they eat, they don't exercise. It was just not the kind of people that I want to be around. So I made a decision here based on that one trip, and it ended up being the right move. It really paid off directly for what I made I definitely got what I made. I definitely got my money back. And then this was the gamble that made me rich. This was the investment that's going to make me rich. Now, I'm not talking about rich in money. That may come, but I'm not expecting that. I mean, I'm rich in spirit. I am full now, full of awareness of my existence, of why I'm doing what I'm doing, how I'm going to do it. If I want to do something, how to get to it, how to do something in the long term, take pain, living like water, go with the flow. That came from investing on something because it was a better spot for me, day to day. So I don't even remember what the original fucking content of this video was when I started, and that makes me mad. I was just talking about being the kind of person that shares your experiences. So now that I know that that's something that is real, no one can take that from me. I don't need to be educated on that. You know what I mean? Like I've learned in my own life schooling. Now, I'm not saying I can't learn extra parts, but I feel as if I'm a master of that. You know what I mean? I feel very confident in my ability to do something again like that because how well this went. And that's just how investors work. That's how businessmen and capitalism work too. It's the same kind of idea. And so if I had a chance, I would very strongly, firmly, and confidently share that to someone if I felt like it could help them make their life better. And the whole point of this video was that I think it's interesting that humanity has that kind of natural urge, that natural drive, desire, and pleasure to share what they believe is going to help them with someone else. And I think that way, that's how we continue to consciously, socially, and culturally evolve. So that's all.